So there is one thing that I needed to tell you today is that you might be reading books the wrong way. Now, how is that? Let's say you've read a book, but 1 month down the line, you try and recollect something, but that doesn't happen. You don't remember important information. So I have basically 3 ways in which I read a book effectively so that I can remember the important points. The first thing that I do is I always have a notebook ready when I'm reading something, so that whenever there is something that I come across or I want to use in my life or I want to apply that to my business, I either highlight that with a highlighter or I use these tiny tabs. So these are like bookmarks which you can peel out, and you can insert it wherever you find important points. So that's how I do it. And also the next thing that I do is I write down important points and then I reflect on that. So if there's a line that I'm reading in a particular book, I write that line down in my notebook and I reflect on that later on. I'm not asking you to do this for the whole book, the entire book, but only the important points that you feel that you're going to use, or something that's going to come like as a reference later on. So these are the 2 ways in which you can do that. And also the third way in which you can do is you can also hear audiobooks related to that book. So what happens is that when you hear an audiobook, that actually enhances your that part of the brain where you can store that, the memory gets stored there. So that's how audiobooks are also really helpful, and you can do that on Audible. There are books on Spotify. You can do that, right? So if you want to retain the information in a book, start journaling about it, start finding points and putting it in your own words. That's how you retain information better, and when you have to actually apply that to your life, you have those pointers ready. So tell me if this works for you and if you can remember books better. So I used to read a lot earlier as well, but I was not remembering anything because I was not noting down things. But from the time I started noting down important points related to the books I'm reading, things started changing. And trust me, this is going to work for you if you want better retention for books and better application, so you can apply them better.